Hi Gemini, this is your reading for August 26th till September 9th. That's the full moon in Pisces to the new moon in Virgo. While I shuffle, I'd like you to, first of all, set aside anything that you're doing right now so that you're not multitasking. I want to make sure that you get everything you can out of this reading. So set aside any distractions. And as I shuffle, I would like you to just take a few deep breaths now so that you can sink into your higher self and your awareness of your guides. And while you do that, I would like you to ask your higher self and your guides to connect with my higher self and my guides so that we can make a feedback loop of information for you to get relevant and pertinent messages out of this reading. Okay. Okay, so for some of you, it seems like at the moment you're in a state of pending or of, you're on pause, let's say. It seems like you may be feeling like it's time for a fresh start. Perhaps you have a moment of clarity and you're waiting to act on it, but the energy is not quite yet there. Or you have been in a state of meditation and rest and contemplation, and you're hoping that in that state of meditation and contemplation that a new idea or a fresh, clean slate will come to mind that will allow you to feel like the moment of revelation has come upon you. But somehow that moment feels like it's not quite there yet. You have two aces in the spread. The Ace of Pentacles is at the foundation. And as I just showed you, the Ace of Swords is the crossing card at the center of the reading. And that just says to me that, you know, in your subconscious or in your emotional self, you're ready for a new beginning. But as I said, that crossing card in the center, the Ace of Swords, is kind of indicating that perhaps that moment hasn't quite yet arrived. Now, the surrounding cards here, you have two sevens. You have the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Swords. Sorry, the Seven of Wands. Now, that's interesting. You have two sevens and two pages side by side. Let's unpack that. On one hand, it seems like you have a lot of options that you're exploring. There's a lot of different opportunities, perhaps, that are revealing themselves as being available to you, but you don't have clarity yet on those. And on the other hand, all those options are, and perhaps those energies around you are making you feel a little bit defensive because perhaps there's a lot of things coming at you. That's the Seven of Swords. Sorry, the Seven of Wands. I keep saying Seven of Swords. And the two pages there side by side is, again, it's kind of confirming or affirming the energy of the aces, in that it's kind of this feeling of like you are wanting a fresh start, you're needing a fresh start, and you're sort of ready for something new. But again, it seems like you're not quite at that moment yet where the new beginning will actually be ushered in. You also have here in the recent past, across the central axis of the reading here, you have the Devil card. This is the card in the recent past position, moving towards the Ten of Swords in the reverse position. Now this is kind of saying, it's kind of saying to me that there is a difficult situation that you've been in that you are looking to move out of. But again, it's still not quite at the end of it. You have the Three of Pentacles with the Six of Cups, with the Four of Pentacles in reverse, along with the Hermit at the top of the reading. Now, this says to me that you're ready to let go, and perhaps in your, whether it's in your work environment or in a relationship, this seems to me like this reading is much more about work than about your relationship. But being that it's a general reading, you can make it relevant to your specific situation. But it feels to me like you've been kind of chipping away, giving energy to a situation, and deep down inside you, you're not really satisfied with how it's unfolding. And it feels like you're a little bit tired of putting energy into it, and you want to just withdraw and pull away from it and just focus on yourself rather than whatever that is, whether that's your environment in your workplace or whether that's in your relationship. But it feels like you're rather dissatisfied in that situation, and it looks like you would much rather it be over and just for you to be able to pull away from it so that you can just spend time on yourself and just withdraw your energy so that you can just check how you feel and take care of your own needs and stop putting energy into other people's projects or other people's stuff. Yeah. At the base, at the bottom of the deck, you have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands with the Hangman, the Three of Swords, and the Empress. I'm going to take all these cards and have a look at them. Again, with the Four of Wands, I would have to say for some of you, this is talking about your home environment, your family life, something that you've been committed to, something that you've been investing energy for some time. There's part of you that is kind of ready to let go and ready to move on from it because it feels unsatisfying. It feels like there's pain and sorrow there, and you would perhaps much rather just walk away. But you're unable to make a move because you're still not clear that that's the right thing to do. You've invested so much, and it's a difficult decision to make to pull away from it because you have put in so much time, so much effort, so much energy. And there's still this feeling here of waiting to see if you actually do have the strength of mind and the clarity of mind to take that step forward, that you kind of feel like, it feels like you've been waiting for some time to make a move. But for now, you're still just meditating, you're still just kind of waiting to see how things play out. There's part of you that's just willing to kind of surrender to the situation as it is right now and just be in it. This Devil card here in the reverse position really makes me feel like you're really unhappy there. That it's perhaps lived through, the part of it that's been fun and interesting and satisfying has perhaps passed, and now you're just in a state of discontent, unhealthy attachment, and bad habits. But you know, you're still looking for options. You're still perhaps waiting to see what shows up for you as an alternative, because it seems like you're not quite ready to make a move yet, as I've said. The Six of Wands here as the crowning card in the reverse position says to me that it doesn't feel good anymore. There's a sense of defeat that's kind of confirmed by the Seven of Wands. Defeated, you maybe feel defeated, perhaps you feel like you've put in so much energy and effort and you're not winning. You don't feel successful. You don't feel joy or pleasure in the situation. And as I said, you have the Four of Pentacles here in the outcome position in the reverse, backed by the Hermit. So this says to me that you've put a lot of energy, and you perhaps feel drained. Perhaps you feel like you've put in so much effort and so much energy, and it feels like it's been a waste. And you're tired of it, and you'd rather just like take yourself out of the situation and just be on your own, so you can just look after your own needs and not be having to take care of other people's needs. Yeah. There's three fours here in the reading. You have the Four of Wands, the Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords. So it seems to me like it's talking about your foundation being a little bit shaky right now, as in what has been your stability and your security and your constant, perhaps comfortable reality is in a state of uncertainty, and a shift is happening. But you're kind of putting off making that shift because you're not totally sure that you actually really want to let go of it, even though it's pretty clear from the cards here that you're not really satisfied. But as I said, perhaps until you feel really clear about what it is that you want to move into next, you're not willing to take the risk of letting go. Yeah. You have the Star card in the reverse position here. That's sort of confirming to me again what I said earlier regarding a feeling of like dissatisfaction, defeat. Perhaps you've lost hope in the situation. Perhaps you're not feeling as optimistic and as excited as you once were in this situation. As I said, you've put in a lot of effort, you've put in a lot of work, and you've done a lot of nurturing. The Empress and the Star. But it lacks, the feeling here is that you're lacking fulfillment in your efforts. At your foundation, you're looking for a fresh start. You're looking for a new surge of physical energy to make you feel alive, to make you feel excited, to make you to reinvigorate that sense of passion for life, because this seems like this is not doing it for you anymore. But there's a fear of moving forward, uncertainty, perhaps a lack of confidence. You're not sure what your gut is really telling you. You feel confused because on one hand, perhaps you have people in your ear telling you what you should be doing, or perhaps placing demands on you for your time and for your energy. But there's a strong sense here that you'd rather just be taking care of your own needs and not constantly be taking care of other people's needs. Yeah. So looking for your passion, striving to find the energy to reinvigorate your life with something meaningful, with something that makes you excited to get out of bed in the morning. Sounds a little bit doom and gloom, but I want to say that there is a lot of excitement here around looking for that new thing. With the two pages here, they're both kind of ushering in this idea of like finding something, as I said, to make you feel passionate about life again. This young, youthful energy of you know, something fresh. It's hard to let go when you've invested a lot. But if you're not happy, either you have to move on from this situation, or you've got to find a way to make yourself excited to be there again. Either way, you need a fresh take. You need a fresh perspective. You need to either surrender to the situation if you're going to stay in it. You need to surrender and accept the choice of staying, but don't take out your frustrations on other people around you just because you're unhappy. If you're in that situation and you're choosing to stay in it because of whatever reasons, whether you're committed or you don't feel like you have other options, it's important not to take out your frustrations on other people, and be willing to accept that the decisions that you've made. Just be really mindful of not projecting your dissatisfaction and your frustrations on other people, because that's not fair. You've got to own your emotions and do something about them, whether that's move on or change the way you feel. Change your attitude. Give yourself an attitude adjustment. Change your mind. You know, that's what the Ace of Swords is. It's a fresh take. It doesn't have to mean you have to totally change your life and move out of the situation you're in. It just means change your mind, change your attitude. Yeah. For some of you, this could mean just taking time for yourself every day. You know, that could be the lesson of the hermit here in this situation. It doesn't mean for everyone that you're going to go off into a monastery and spend all your days meditating. No, it could mean simply that you just recognize that you need to have some time for yourself. If you're putting too much energy out and you feel drained and you feel tapped, again, that's your responsibility. You need to take the time every day to have some personal quiet time, to have some time to just take care of your own needs, to have some time to do some exercise and to meditate and to just have some personal space. You can't blame other people for you not having that. It's up to you to carve that time out in your day. Stop blaming other people if you feel shitty. And change your habits if you have a lot of bad habits. It's not helping contribute to your sense of well-being. Again, if you're like feeling unhappy and you feel like everyone's taking your time and energy, but you're not looking after yourself, again, that's your responsibility. It's up to you to change your habits, to let go of unhealthy attachments, to be in a better state of mind and of heart and of body. You know? Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for the first reading, the general reading. Now I'm going to take the Voyager deck and do another holographic mandala spread for the higher octave reading. And this will give us more information on what's going on a more spiritual level. This spread talks about what's going on, and the Voyager deck will tell us why. You have the Hermit card in the same position as you did in the first reading. That's interesting. Okay. Well, the Voyager deck is talking here a little bit more about your, I guess it's urgent need to make some shifts in your life. You have the Tower in the center of the spread, crossed by the number 14 from the Major Arcana, which is the Temperance card in the Rider-Waite deck. In this deck, it's called Art. As I said, you have the Hermit card here in the same position, backed by the card in this deck, which is called Time Space, which is the Judgment card in the Rider-Waite deck. So I'll leave it there. If you want to know what this spread is about, you can click the link in the description box for the extended higher octave reading. Thanks, Gemini. We'll see you in the next cycle.